So how do you train for a disaster you can't possibly predict? I mean, in the world of cybersecurity, that is the big question, right? Well, today we're going to break down a pretty interesting answer, a micro game called Cyber Crisis. It's designed to forge decision makers in the fire of a simulated catastrophe. Let's dive in and see how this thing works.
Now, this isn't just some catchy tagline for a game. No, this is the brutal, honest-to-goodness reality of crisis management. The Cyber Crisis game doesn't just, simulate this environment. It literally throws you headfirst into it. It forces you to deal with the exact challenges that define a real-world cyber incident.
Okay, so how do you practice for a situation where the stakes are massive, but the information you have is minimal? Well, think of the Cyber Crisis game as a kind of flight simulator, but for decision makers. This isn't a test of your technical skills. It's a test of your strategic thinking when you're under some serious pressure.
The simulation, it kicks off pretty innocently. You're playing a public administration professional, just easing into your Friday. The day looks totally normal, totally manageable. But, as we all know, that's usually the exact moment a crisis decides to show up.
And bam, there it is. An urgent email from your supervisor, who's on holiday, of course. Figures. All of a sudden, your quiet Friday is completely out the window. Now, you have this critical, super time-sensitive task. Plan the long-term defense strategy for a future cyber crisis. This right here is what kicks the whole game off.
So that urgent email, it throws you right into phase one of the game, resource allocation. This is the moment where your team's entire strategy gets decided, and your challenge is to figure out where to put your very limited resources to prepare for a future that, let's be honest, you cannot possibly predict.
And here is the big catch. You only get 12 investment units. That's it, 12. And you have to spread that across 7 different critical areas, everything from the National Security Council to international cooperation to critical infrastructure. So yeah, scarcity is definitely the name of the game here.
Now, what's really interesting is how you invest. See, every single area starts in the red with a deficit of -2. So your first investment unit, that just gets you back to 0. If you want to build any real capability, you have to invest sequentially. It's a serious uphill battle from the very start.
And you have to do all of this fast. The game facilitator is absolutely ruthless with the clock. You get just 10 minutes to place all 12 of your units. Then, 3 minutes to write down your arguments for why you did what you did. And finally, 3 minutes to present it all. The pressure's on from the word go.
All right, so you've made your careful, strategic decisions. You're feeling pretty good about them, right? But now comes phase 2. This is where a little thing called chance enters the picture. And it's where the game really shows you that your plans, well, they don't exist in a bubble.
That's right. The resources you so carefully allocated are just one piece of the puzzle. The game is about to take your deliberate choices and smash them together with the complete and utter unpredictability of a dice roll.
So here's how it breaks down. For each of those 7 areas, the facilitator rolls a die. The number on that die gets added to whatever your investment level was. So let's say you invested up to level 2. The die roll is a 4. Your final effective result is a 6. A high roll can totally save a weak investment, and a low roll can absolutely cripple a strong one. And this is the whole point, right? The game just hammers this lesson home again and again. In any real crisis, there are always going to be external factors that you just can't control. You can have the perfect plan, but you still have to deal with luck, both good and bad.
Okay, now we hit the climax of the whole simulation, the aftermath. We've jumped 5 simulated years into the future. Your investment decisions, plus those dice rolls, have set the stage. And now, it's time to see the consequences.
The facilitator makes one final roll of the die. But this roll isn't about your resources. This one determines the crisis itself. Is it going to be a targeted attack on public administration? Or maybe it's a 6, a catastrophic nationwide blackout. Kind of like a modern Carrington event from a solar storm that could just wipe out our tech. This is the moment of truth.
So, the crisis is revealed. Now your team has to look back at the decisions you made 5 years ago in game time. You've got to justify your choices, think about what you missed, and then give a little pitch on your lessons learned. How well did your brilliant strategy actually hold up against reality?
And this gets us to the real heart of this entire exercise. This 90-minute simulation isn't just about playing a game. It's an incredibly powerful tool. The most valuable part isn't about winning or losing. It's about the reflection that happens after it's all over.
The debriefing session forces teams to really confront their own assumptions and their biases.
It's what connects this theoretical exercise to the real world. Asking questions like these is what turns a simple game into a really profound learning experience about strategy, teamwork, and managing risk.
And really, that's the ultimate takeaway. The cyber crisis game isn't built to give you easy answers. It's a tool that's engineered to make you ask harder, better questions. It leaves every player with this one critical thought. Are the choices I'm making right now the ones I'll be able to stand by when a real crisis finally hits?